Eden, all right, here we go. This is going to be just a tranquil brawl. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but it looked good picture, so I thought I'd use it. So here we go. Research and development. This is always a map of carnage, and we have some pretty good players on both sides. So this is set to be a rumble in the jungle. Well, the research center. So let's talk. I mean, the Million Clone event is going quite well. At this point, it's probably long done and finished, but certainly this was filmed on the Saturday. Yep, I think. And this was something that I think by this point already we knew that we got 250,000 clones in the bank like 7 or 6 hours after the event started. So that was obviously quite good. I haven't read the forums yet, but there could well be a possibility that we've already reached 1 million clones, in which case, oh yeah. But we shall see. I think I like these events. These are good. These are kind of keeping people's interest. It's also a fantastic way for Dust and CCP to make sure that people don't go and play Titanfall this weekend. I know what you're up to, bros. I know. But I think either way, the two games are very similar, and I think, but almost mutually exclusive as well, because there is something very, I think, endearing about the whole Dust side and the economy side of this. And I think, even Titanfall is just another Battlefield 4. I think it will come and it will go. It is a great game, and I'm enjoying playing it, but when they do events like this, when there's much more kind of enjoyment to be had, I think certainly this is where the feather in the cap comes to CCP for doing quite a clever thing. These events as well, I think there's quite a lot of them going on, so they are forcing people to buy things like clones, to buy boosters, which is probably a good thing as well, because I think, the real reward for it is, it's asking you to show some investment in the game. It's a free game. They're providing all of this for you for free, so if you've never bought a booster ever, if you've never paid a penny to CCP, then quite frankly you're getting entertained for nothing. And that's where I think sometimes the boosters aren't a bad idea at all, because firstly you do get a hell of a boost of skill points. So obviously I've got Amigas in, and that means everything I get is doubled over the night. And that got me a substantial amount of skill points. So that's not to be sniffed at all. I think it really is. It does add up. Certainly does add up. I think also as well, just having the things like the passive boosters on as well is actually pretty good as well, because what that gives you is, for example, you'll log in on one morning after not having played for a day or so, and you'll be like, how the hell did I get 150k skill points? Where the hell did that come from? It's because you have obviously a passive booster and also a passive charge anyway, so you do get quite a benefit for using boosters. So don't disregard them. I think a lot of people that I've spoken to never use boosters, and I've explained to them the benefits that you get. And they've then gone on to maybe use boosters as a treat. Maybe they have a few spare quid lying around, and they go and buy a booster just to give them, an accelerated training of something, or they want to get into a better dropship, or they want to use a better gun. Then go for it. It's what it's there for, pretty much. And I think also you mustn't forget that the funding of this game comes from things like booster sales. CCP only really make money from that. Remember that. I mean, there's probably a little bit of advertising somewhere going on, but I don't know, but probably not. But this is the only way they actually make money, is by selling boosters, Aurum guns, things like that. So, don't disregard them, because every business is only as viable as the money and the balance sheet at the bottom of, at the end of the day and at the bottom of the line. And I think, to be honest, Dust is one of these games that I think commercially has to succeed, because this also represents a new business model for CCP. CCP are really they're kind of hog-tied by the oldest Eve subscription model, because that's how the game's been subscribed and set, and that's how it always will be. If they made it a free-to-play game, their server infrastructure would just not handle it. They couldn't handle 1 million players signing up and logging in. The game would die. So their subscription-based commercial model keeps numbers low but revenues high. So that's, it's a good strategy in theory. But it's not a popular one. A lot of people are moving away from subscription-based models. They want free-to-play with microtransactions and they CCP tried to do this with the whole Monocle debacle. And I feel slightly sorry for them because I actually think that they should make EVE free to play. They should have maybe multiple servers. I know this is heresy, I know, but they should just have multiple servers and make it free to play with microtransactions. And let the rich dudes who've got way more money than sense go and buy a Titan and fund the game for the rest of us. I would much prefer that. I would play EVE like crazy if it was a free to play game, but it costs hundreds and hundreds of pounds to play the game. And I'm not really going to be sort of like logging on like all my accounts just to make ISK to then keep playing the game either. It's a perpetuating, annoyance that I don't want to be part of. So to me, I get a lot of people saying to me, why don't I play more EVE? It's because I've done that. I did that for 10 years and I've got all the shit I could ever want from that game. And I'm not going to pay to play it. It's simple as that. No, I don't mind paying for boosters. I don't mind the commercial model at all. But I just don't like the subscription-based model where it says, right, you've run out of quarters. Please insert 10 quarters, which is in essence what it is. And I don't like that. Personally, I just think, if there is going to be more of a link between EVE and Dust, maybe they need to come up with a free account in EVE, maybe, that is linked to Dust or something. So maybe if you've got, I don't know, boosters in Dust, maybe you can fund an EVE character that way. I really would urge CCP to look into something like that, because most Dust players can't really, warrant a subbed account either, because they play Dust and their primary reason for playing Dust is Dust. Whereas, yes, they may move across to your subscription model, but I can't imagine many have. I'm sure a lot have, but I can't imagine the majority have in the slightest. So I think there needs to be maybe something done there. I would be curious to see what the future of EVE is going to be. If it's going to be subscription forever, then I just think eventually it's going to start hitting roadblocks, and it will start to have generally lots of issues with getting new players in. The core and this is the thing to bear in mind with EVE, is that there is a hardcore group of players, a huge hardcore group of players who play every day, will always play every day, and they will keep subscribing or they will keep funding through game time cards. And that's pretty much, and again, a game time card is just a deferred subscription. Remember that, it's just deferred. Somebody else is paying for your subscription with a game time card, and eventually those players may dry up. You may literally find that there are just the people in the game who won't be willing to fund it. I don't know, but to me, I'm surprised that model is still going. And this is why Dust is so important, literally so important from a business point of view to CCP, because it's the first game they've done that is free to play, like the whole majority of the industry is going. And they're relying on the microtransactions, they're relying on Aurum to fund, effectively, the game. So, to me, this is a big deal, bros. This is a big deal. And I hope it works. I really do. I think, as more and more kind of people keep playing and coming to Dust, I think more and more people will get used to the free-to-play model. I think, if they migrate to EVE, then great. But again, there can't be a great statistic there either. But anyway, so, I think it's an interesting one for me, because I would love to do more orbitals. I'd love to do more stuff with EVE. But quite frankly, the requirement to have to subscribe to it is just not really I don't see the point of that when so many games are free to play, or you do a one-off purchase. Like Star Citizen, I believe, is a one-off purchase. I could be wrong, but it feels like certainly that's what it will be. So for 40 quid or 50 quid or whatever it will be, you effectively get a game like EVE forever. So how is that model going to work with games like that? So there we go. What a load of babble about business and bollocks, eh? But I think as you kind of get into these kind of things, you realise that it's an enabler. And I think sometimes a lot of games enable you to play, like War Thunder. It just opened the doors and said, come try us, bro. And lo and behold, I ended up spending a fair bit of money with them, probably more than I would have if it was a subscription model, because subscription models is just an entry fee that I don't feel I'm getting benefit from. Whereas in Dust, if I'm buying boosters, I feel I'm getting benefit from giving money to the game. Do you see what I mean? It's a very different psychology behind it, and I think a lot of people would rather invest in a game through the passiveness of things like microtransactions, rather than feel that kind of ticking clock every month saying, you owe me money, bro, you owe me money, bro, you owe me money, bro. And I think eventually people get a bit tired of it. So there we go. Interesting stuff. And again, a load of absolute business babble, but a good match in the background. Had a real riot with this one. Killed quite a lot. Again, I'm surprised actually. I'm not a high killer. In fact, I'm not a high killer at all because people do generally better than me. But it's nice to play a few games where I do feel like I'm actually getting kills and contributing. So I think the heavy suit is probably the reason for it. I do like that heavy suit. It gives me, it gives me fun. It's a pleasurable thing to do. And certainly I would say that it's one of those suits that looks cool as well. So we go 21 and 3. Not bad. Again, didn't die much as well, which is quite surprising on that particular map. Particularly. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you next time.